NATO and Polish warplanes shot down several Russian attack drones that flew into Polish airspace overnight. And the organizers of a flotilla, intent on delivering aid to Gaza, say it's been hit by a drone strike while docked in Tunisia. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the Western military alliance is assessing today's incident in Poland. Nearly 20 large Russian attack drones flew into Polish airspace. Polish and NATO warplanes shot down some of them. Poland is asked to invoke Article 4 of the NATO treaty, a meeting where the allies review a potential threat. NPR's Joanna Kakissis reports from Kyiv.
Poland's leaders are calling the incursion of Russian drones into Polish airspace, quote, an act of aggression. Residents in regions bordering Ukraine were told to seek shelter. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the airspace violation was no accident. Ukrainian security analyst Hanna Shelest agrees.
So we understand that it is a deliberate policy of checking air defense and the procedures of NATO countries, how they will react to this. Because the weak reaction immediately will encourage them to the continuous action and increase of such activities.
Moscow's envoy in Poland says there's no proof the drones are Russian and that Russia has no interest in fighting with Poland. Joanna Kakissis, NPR News, Kyiv.
President Trump says he'll release a statement today about Israel's attack yesterday on the capital of Qatar. Israel struck a building in the city of Doha, saying it was targeting Hamas leadership. 6 people were killed. None were Hamas leaders. President Trump says he's not happy about the strike, and other nations have condemned the attack. Majed al-Ansari is the spokesman for Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
We are talking to all of our partners in the region and beyond to take a very strong position against the actions of Prime Minister Netanyahu that has driven Israel into being a pariah and rogue state in the region.
He spoke to NPR's Morning Edition. The organizers of a flotilla who want to deliver aid to Gaza say it's been hit a second time by a drone strike in Tunisia. No one was hurt. NPR's Ruth Sherlock reports.
Videos of the reported attack show a flash and then the top deck of the British-flagged Alma boat catching fire. This comes just a day after another similar strike on another boat that's carrying many leaders of the movement. The flotilla is made up of dozens of ships and participants from some 44 countries, including climate campaigner Greta Thunberg. They say they're determined to deliver aid to Gaza by sea as Israel continues its offensive against Hamas there. Israel has so far not responded to NPR's repeated requests for comment on the reported drone attacks on the boats. In a press release, the flotilla organisers called this a, quote, orchestrated attempt to distract and derail our mission. Ruth Sherlock, NPR News, Rome.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been in Puerto Rico this week, along with Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Dan Kane. Hegseth posted a video online. This comes as the Trump administration is increasing attention to drug cartels operating in the Caribbean Sea. Last week, President Trump said the U.S. struck a vessel in the Caribbean that had come from Venezuela. He said the ship was part of a drug operation. This also comes as Trump ordered the Defense Department to take a secondary title, the Department of War. Hegseth has changed his title from Defense Secretary to Secretary of War. The U.S. Supreme Court says it will consider the case of President Trump's extensive tariffs. He imposed the levies earlier this year using an executive order. 2 lower federal courts have decided the tariffs are illegal. They said Trump needed authorization from Congress. President Trump's emergency declaration allowing him to take control of the Washington, D.C. Police Department expires today. But federal intervention in the city's affairs will likely continue. From member station WAMU, Alex Coma reports.
President Trump said federal control of the D.C. Police Department was needed to address crime in the city. And most crime rates have fallen over the last few weeks, according to D.C. Police, but many of these numbers were falling before Trump's intervention. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has pushed back against Trump's decision to temporarily take over the department. She remains concerned about preserving the city's limited self-government.
It has been clear that our autonomy has kind of been in the crosshairs. That's our North Star.
Trump has also ordered many federal agents and the National Guard into the city. He isn't expected to remove them anytime soon. For NPR News, I'm Alex Coma in Washington, D.C.
South Korea has chartered a flight to bring back more than 300 South Korean workers detained at a battery plant in Georgia last week. NPR's Anthony Kuhn reports from Seoul.
South Korea's foreign ministry says it aims to bring the workers home as quickly as possible, but adds that unspecified delays mean the chartered flight might not be able to immediately return to South Korea. One area of disagreement is that South Korea wants its workers to be able to leave voluntarily so that they can return to the United States at some point, while the Trump administration wants them to be deported, which could prevent them from coming back. South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Hyun is expected to discuss the matter with Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington. Experts see a clash of priorities as the Trump administration tries to both attract high-tech manufacturing and tighten border controls. Anthony Kuhn, NPR News, Seoul.
A new moon has been discovered orbiting the planet Uranus. From Northwest Public Broadcasting, Lauren Patterson has more.
At just 6 miles in diameter, the newest moon discovered orbiting Uranus is also the smallest. That's according to University of Idaho physics professor Matthew Hedman, who was part of the team led by the Southwest Research Institute that made the discovery. Hedman says the 13 rings encircling Uranus are exceptionally narrow, and the icy giant's moons are orbiting so closely that their gravitational pulls can tug on each other, leading to collisions.
It indicates we don't really understand what's going on in this system, and that tells us there's still a lot about how things are going on in space that we still need to learn.
He says understanding more about how the moons interact could help scientists learn more about the physics of asteroid belts. For NPR News, I'm Lauren Patterson in Moscow, Idaho.
And I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News from Washington.